Good morning, everyone. I am Riya Sinha, your assistant teacher. Today, we are going to start chapter number 10 of history, that is traders, kings, and pilgrims. In this chapter, we are going to learn about kings, pilgrims, pilgrimage centers, all the mythological places, traders, and about their lifestyle. So here in this chapter, first topic is given how to find out about trade and traders. From where we have learned that what kind of things were at that time traders were done, or what kind of trading articles were there, what were their lifestyle at that time. So let's see about it. In the previous chapter, we have learned about northern black polished ware, which is a fine pottery. Especially bowls and plates were found from several archaeological sites throughout the subcontinent. So, how do we think it reached these places? Obviously, traders may have carried them from the places where they were made to sell them at other places. South India was famous for gold, spices, and especially pepper and precious stones. Pepper was particularly valued in the Roman Empire, so much so that it was known as black gold. So traders carried many of these goods to Rome in ships across the sea and by land in caravans. There must have been quite a lot of trade, as many Roman gold coins have been found in South India. So basically, pepper and precious stones was very famous in South India. Gold also. Pepper was particularly valued in the Roman Empire, and so it was known as black gold at that time. Traders used to carry many of these goods to Rome in ships and across the sea by land in caravans also. And there must have been quite a lot of trade, as many Roman gold coins have been found in South India. Traders explored several sea routes, and some of these followed the coast. There were others across the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, where sailors took advantage of the monsoon winds to cross the seas more quickly. So if they wanted to reach the western coast of the subcontinent from East Africa or Arabia, they chose to sail with the southwest monsoon. And sturdy ships had to be built for these long journeys. So basically, traders had ideas about different types of sea routes, so they used to explore it also at that time. And some of these followed the coast also. There were other across the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, where sailors took advantage of the monsoon winds to cross the seas more quickly. So if they wanted to reach the western coast of the subcontinent from East Africa or Arabia, they usually chose to sail with the southwest monsoon. Now see the next topic. New kingdoms along the coast. The southern half of the subcontinent is marked by a long coastline and with hills, plateaus, and river valleys. Amongst the river valleys, that of the Kaveri is the most fertile. Chiefs and kings who control the river valleys and the coast became rich and powerful. Sangam poems mention the Movendar, and this is a Tamil word meaning the three chiefs used for the head of three ruling families, the Cholas, the Cheras, and the Pandyas. You all have to learn this term, Movendar. Movendar is a Tamil word meaning three chiefs, usually used to refer three ruling families, the Cholas, the Cheras, and the Pandyas, who became powerful in South India around 2300 years ago. Each of the three chiefs had two centers of power, one inland and one on the coast. Of these 6 cities, 2 were very important, Puhar or Kaveri Pattinam. the port of the Cholas, and Madurai, the capital of the Pandyas. The chiefs did not collect regular taxes, and instead they demanded and received gifts from the people. They also went on military expeditions and collected tribute from neighboring areas. They kept some of the wealth and distributed the rest amongst their supporters, including members of their family, soldiers, and poets. Many poets whose compositions are found in the Sangam collection composed poems in praise of chiefs who often rewarded them with precious stones, gold, horses, elephants, chariots, and fine cloth. So around 200 years later, a dynasty known as the Satavahanas became powerful in western India. The most important ruler of Satvahana was Gautami Putra Sri Satkarni. The most important ruler of Satvahana was Gautami Putra Sri Satkarni. So, we know about him from an inscription composed on behalf of his mother, Gautami Balashri. He and other Satvahana rulers were known as Lords of Dakshinapath. Dakshinapath, literally the route leading to the south, which was also used as a name for the entire southern region. Entire southern region was referred as Dakshinapath at that time. So he sent his army to the eastern, western, and southern coast. Okay, so hope you all understood the cover topics well. Thank you. Have a nice day.